The Golden State Warriors signing Dwight Howard is perfect, and here's why. As you all know, the Warriors aren't signing Dwight Howard just yet, but it does become more evident that they are looking to sign him just before the season starts next month. In a cryptic tweet by Dwight Howard, who posted this just after his time with the Golden State Warriors training camp, he actually spelled Warrior twice in full capital letters. A lot of ESPN analysts do believe that this is a cryptic tweet in order to say that the Warriors are looking to sign him just before the season starts and that the doors are not closed just yet. So in today's video, we're going to be going through some of the reasons why Dwight Howard is perfect for the Golden State Warriors and how he can help them win another NBA championship. So make sure to like this video, and guys, 92% of you are still not subscribed to the channel, so it means the world if you can subscribe to the channel, hit that red button down below. The first is that Dwight Howard will provide that inside scoring presence the Golden State Warriors need. As you all know, the Golden State Warriors last season did have great big men in Draymond Green and also Kevon Looney. However, what they did lack is definitely an inside scoring presence. Kevon Looney isn't really too much of a scorer. He only averaged around 7.5 points per game, and so did also Draymond Green. And now adding someone like Dwight Howard to that lineup and also to that roster could provide that inside scoring presence that the Golden State Warriors desperately need. They did get Dario Saric, which I think was a great scoring big man to have on board, but he is more of an outside three-point shooting type scorer, and that inside presence is still left unknown. And this is where Dwight Howard can definitely come in. Now, Dwight in the most recent season did actually play for the LA Lakers back in 2021-2022 season, where he averaged 6.2 points, but you do have to realize he was only averaging around 13 minutes per game. The last time we saw him actually average really good numbers and also getting 20 minutes per game was in a season of 2018-2019 with the Washington Wizards, where he averaged 12.8 points while also shooting an effective field goal percentage of 62%. So this definitely does show Dwight Howard, if given the role, can definitely score at will and do it at a highly efficient rate. And this is something the Warriors desperately need. I think the Warriors last season did do a great job, and when they did face off against the Los Angeles Lakers, where they didn't really have too much inside presence, especially against Anthony Davis in the paint, that is where they really struggled. They couldn't really just rely on their three-point shooting, and sometimes you do have to go into the paint, get some buckets in there and a highly efficient shot, and that is something that they definitely lacked. Adding someone like Dwight Howard can definitely add more to that, and I think Dwight Howard's scoring capability is definitely low-key underrated. He's definitely a great scorer, and he can also do it at an effective field goal percentage as well, like we've seen from the stats, but he does stand at 6'10", 265 pounds, and even at 37 years old, he still has great athleticism to be able to get to the ring in each and every way. As you guys know, he is an 8-time All-NBA 2020 NBA champ, so he does have that playoff experience that can definitely help out, especially when it comes playoff and championship time. The second is that Dwight Howard can become the defensive anchor for the Golden State Warriors second unit. Now, I think this is something that is so important as well, but defense is what wins championships, and that is definitely a saying that is true. Now, when it comes to Dwight Howard, yes, he is a great inside defender, and yes, Kevon Looney is already that great inside presence, but that is for the starting five. When the bench comes on, that's what we saw especially last season against the Los Angeles Lakers, where they did get knocked out, where we really saw Los Angeles Lakers really take advantage of the Golden State Warriors, was definitely that second unit. The second unit for the Warriors didn't have too many inside defending players, such as, someone like JaMychal Green, who's more of a scorer than anything and was a little bit older in age and didn't have the same athleticism, and because of that, they really did have a lot of trouble against players such as Anthony Davis during that series. And this is where Dwight Howard definitely comes in. Although Dwight Howard is 37, you can definitely see that he still has the athleticism of a 30-year-old, no doubt about it. He does stand at 6'10", which would add that height that the Warriors definitely need, and still weighs 265 pounds. So Dwight Howard is a great defender, and he's definitely showed it over the years. He's a great shot blocker that we all know of, and on top of that, Dwight Howard is able to hold his own if he does ever get switched onto a guard. He has the speed and athleticism to be able to stay in front, which I think is what's super important, especially in today's league with positionless like basketball. I think Dwight Howard can do a great job at being able to switch if he is on a guard and be able to defend it at a very highly efficient rate. And this is something that the Warriors desperately need. As you all know, the Warriors last season were a great defending team, but they were very poor compared to the season before that. When they did win the NBA championship against the Boston Celtics, they were actually ranked second in defense, and in the most recent season where they did get knocked out by the Lakers, they actually ranked 15th in defense. defense. So they're still somewhat in that top half. However, they did fall drastically due to the lack of players that they did lose during that between off season. But now I think they can make up for it, getting someone like Dwight who has that defensive presence, especially on the inside, and can really provide that shot blocking and contest in the paint that can really cause problems for a lot of other teams. The third is that the Golden State Warriors could get an NBA championship experience player for veteran minimum. Now I think this is something that is super important, but as you all know, the Golden State Warriors in the recent articles have mentioned that they aren't signing the Dwight Howard just yet. However, that does not mean that the door is completely closed. One of the reasons why I think this is because they can get Dwight Howard for veteran minimum, and they may look to actually fill the roster spot with someone else that could maybe have, you know, a bigger play time, especially when it comes to a younger type of guy. However, if that spot isn't filled and they can't find that player, I definitely do believe that Dwight Howard will be signing with the Golden State Warriors probably before the start of opening night. And this is what that cryptic tweet that we talked about earlier is definitely about. And this is where it becomes super valuable for someone like Dwight Howard, and also super valuable for the Golden State Warriors. They can get someone who's of Dwight Howard's caliber, who's 8-time All-NBA, 2-time block champ, 8-time All-Star, guys. This list keeps going on. 5-time All-Defensive, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, and also a 2020 NBA champion. A lot of the ESPN analysts do believe that if Dwight Howard was to join the Warriors, he wouldn't expect any more than around 15 to 20 minutes per game. And I think that is still a good amount of minutes for Dwight Howard to play. But on top of that, I do believe that Dwight Howard has a bigger role for this team. Not only can he provide championship experience that is definitely needed, but he can definitely teach the younger guys a thing or two, or how to be an NBA champion, and also how to be, you know, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, 8-time All-Star, which is what Dwight Howard is. And I think that is becoming more and more valuable, especially in today's NBA, and especially for a team like the Golden State Warriors who have a lot of young guys. I think Jonathan Kuminga has a lot of similarities to Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard is a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. You know, Dwight is definitely, you know, Shaq 2.0. However, when it comes to Jonathan Kuminga, I think the play style is very similar when it comes to their inside presence, and I think Dwight can definitely teach Jonathan Kuminga a thing or two. And this is where it becomes super important, especially when it comes to younger guys' development, because they need that guidance from all areas, whether it's from the same position as them, whether it's from people that do different things. And I think that's what really makes the Golden State Warriors such a great team, and why they've been able to really develop a lot of young guys and turning out into absolute superstars. If we look at everyone on the board, you definitely see that Dwight Howard is probably the biggest steal for the price range when it comes to all the free agents left. And I think that's one of the reasons why the Golden State Warriors have held off right now, because at the start of the season, they can definitely get him for the veteran minimum, and now he's finally a part of the team. So I think they are going to explore their options a little bit more, see if they can get someone such as Kelly Oubre, who's been mentioned time and time again, and maybe some others. But for right now, Dwight Howard is on the back burner, but I do believe that if that spot is still open, Dwight Howard is definitely going to be a Warrior. The fourth is that Dwight Howard is a fantastic rebounder. Now, as you all know, Dwight Howard is rebound central, and he has put up some of the craziest numbers in his career when it comes to rebounding. His most recent season, he actually averaged 5.9 rebounds for the LA Lakers, and this was only with around 13 minutes of game time. But like we mentioned before, last time he was getting around 20 minutes per game he was averaging 9.3 rebounds, which is fantastic to see. And his best season ever in his career, he was able to average 14.5 rebounds in 2011 and 2012 season. So I think Dwight Howard is going to be able to provide a lot of rebounding for this Warriors team, due to the fact that the Golden State Warriors last season, you really did see them struggle, especially on the rebounding side of things. As you all know, they weren't really the tallest team. You know, their tallest players were definitely Kevon Looney, Jonathan Kuminga, who all stand around 6'8" and 6'7". James Wiseman, who was traded, who was a 7-footer, definitely did hurt them, especially when it came playoff time, as they did not have enough size, especially when they did get knocked out by the Los Angeles Lakers. If we look at the Golden State Warriors rebounding numbers last season, we actually do see that they ranked in 15th in rebounds allowed to their opponents, which is really poor, especially if you compare that to the season where they did win the NBA championship against Boston. They actually ranked in the top 5, which means that they were really good at restricting teams from getting rebounds, whether it's offensive or defensive. And I think this is something that is super important, especially when it comes to the game of basketball. Second chance points can definitely change a game, and you definitely did see that, especially when they versed the Los Angeles Lakers, where Anthony Davis, standing at pretty much 7 foot, was too hard to stop, especially for players such as Draymond Green, Kevon Looney, who are definitely shorter than him. Now, adding someone like Dwight Howard, who has the capability to jump, has the capability to really be strong in the paint and is standing at 6'10", can definitely help this team in the future. The fifth is that Dwight Howard will bring a whole new fan base to the Golden State Warriors. Now, as you all know, when it comes to Dwight Howard, he has a huge fan base. He's most recently playing in Asia, in Taiwan, and he's doing a fantastic job over there. But I do believe Dwight Howard has a huge fan base, and this is more for the front office, but he could bring selling a lot of tickets to the Golden State Warriors stadium and also a lot of jerseys. Dwight Howard has a huge fan base, and he was definitely a superstar back in the day, and even though he is a little bit older, his fan base continues to grow each and every single day. And I do believe from a monetary standpoint, I think the front office would be very happy to see Dwight Howard in a Golden State Warriors uniform. Not only will he sell more tickets and more jerseys, but I do believe he will definitely help headline a lot of these games due to the fact that he's such a big name, not only now just in America, but also in Asia, in Europe, and all these other countries. So from that point of view, I do believe Dwight Howard can definitely sell a lot more for the front office, and that could be another reason why they are definitely interested in getting Dwight Howard in a Golden State Warriors uniform.